What is this nonsense? Oh, wow. It's finally here. What is it? It's the new HASLAB Omega Prime set. What's a HASLAB? Well, it's when a multi-million-dollar toy company asks the fans of their IP to front the bill of a product they didn't have faith in succeeding in the archaic retail model. Huh. And they call me the bad guy. It's finally here! My HASLAB Omega Prime has arrived. Now, I originally planned to try out a live unboxing video for the 4 of you that watch them, but due to the documented QC issues that have been cropping up, I decided to check the figure first and see what kind of shape it was in before doing a regular video. I am happy that my Omega Prime set has arrived relatively unscathed, though I immediately opened him up to do the fix just in case. Now, there's a lot to go over here, and I had to really think about how to present this review, as others were sadly not so lucky with the QC issues. They are, of course, completely justified in feeling a little sour towards this set. Ultimately, I decided I can really only judge this on the figures I received and give you my thoughts on them. This is not a retail release, so I personally have different standards for it, much like the previous HASLABs I've reviewed. And really, I just hope to provide an enjoyable view into what you get for those still waiting for theirs, or for those who are unable to or unwilling to participate in the campaign.
Would you stop waffling and get on with it, please?
Okay, I said you could watch, not heckle, and you're supposed to be keeping him in line.
Hey, I'm trying. Try harder. I dare you.
Okay, let's just get on with this.
If you like this content, you should consider supporting the channel.
That was awesome, Motormaster. Thank you.
And if you don't support us, I will head straight to your home, take my sword, and drive it into your...
Okay, that was great. Let's get some lunch.
I could really go for some sashimi.
Let's kick things off with Ultra Magnus.
Ugh!
Sadly, I don't have the original anymore to compare it to, but this is still the gorgeous-looking vehicle mode I loved back in the day. Magnus is one of those characters that is forever associated with a specific alt mode, and rarely strays from it. And this incarnation is one of the best examples of it to this day, in my opinion. I just love the epic nature of the truck cab. The front bumper is just so beautiful, with the shiny blue chrome plating and that stunning gold Autobot symbol molded into the center. It's a statement piece, and makes the whole vehicle mode stand out in a fantastic way. The cab itself is an excellent crisp white color with nice blue tinted windows. I love all the sharp angles of the truck cab, and the nice little details molded and painted throughout. The trailer itself is pretty securely attached to Magnus, but this is the part of the toy that a lot of people either love or hate, because it's mostly made up of a lot of thin, flappy panels. For some, this is pretty awesome, and allows for a lot of interactivity with other Autobot cars. Much like the original G1 Magnus, this can be a lot of fun, loading him up and having him haul his fellow Autobots into battle. For others, the panels can be annoying to manipulate, and leads to some fiddly steps later on in the transformations. It's fine either way. Personally, and I know this is strange, but I like the interactivity more now than I did as a kid. Not sure why, but I think it's fun now. Back in the day, R80 figures sported rubber tires. On this new iteration, they've changed out for plastic. I don't mind this change, as the originals tended to crack and fall off, but I do miss the branding details the originals had. Sporting the Japanese names of the characters was really cool, but the wheels are pinned on and nicely painted, so I won't complain too much over this.
I never noticed my wheels were cracked. I told you your skincare routine was garbage, but you wouldn't listen.
Magnus's transformation is, well, he's a parts former. There's no beating around the bush here, and that is obviously going to deter some people. But given the nature of what he needs to accomplish for the combined mode, I don't see it as a huge problem. To eliminate the parts forming, they would probably have had to change his robot mode look, so it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Personally, I don't mind a bit of parts forming, as I'm hit with the nostalgia for this guy, so that's probably a factor as to why. I recall the original's transformation being extremely fiddly, but maybe it's age or experience at this point that I actually found this new incarnation of RID Magnus to be intuitive to transform. The result is, well, it's definitely RID Ultra Magnus.
Wow, that was just a riveting description.
It's an interesting design. That's how I'll put it. I like when they push the boundaries and remind us that these are robots and don't need to be perfectly proportioned. But he does look like a guy who's hiked up his pants to Steve Urkel levels. The proportions also tend to cause other issues for Magnus. He can stand fine in a static pose, and while you can move his arms and head with no issues, when you try to manipulate the legs in any way, it becomes rather difficult to keep him balanced. Despite the ankle tilts and the massive feet, it's still not the easiest figure to get into any kind of dynamic shape. Still, I find myself enjoying the look. Everything is spot on to what I remember, and emphasize just that extra little bit that you'd expect from a HASLAB. The details are great. From the spot-on head sculpt, the powerful rocket boosters on his back, to the gorgeous sculpting and painting on his shin guards. They even gave him his own matrix in a nod to the original Car Robots version of the story of God Magnus. All of this adds together to a very cool-looking Ultra Magnus. Where I have issues is in the stuff that just scares me for how it's going to hold up to the test of time. There are a lot of spots on this figure where the plastic feels a little thin. Not cheap, just not robust. Like the hinge on the backpack feels a little weak, and the numerous tiny tabs required to lock things into place. I fear for these pieces in the long run. Maybe it's just paranoia because of the expense of the figure. Maybe it's justified. I don't know. But we'll find out.
They don't make them like they used to, that's for sure. Okay, Boomer.
Magnus also comes with his signature weapon, Blue Bolts. Blue Bolts has always been a weird design, but a fun one. The original could configure and be held in a variety of ways, and the design team have done something here that just feels like the next natural progression for his blaster, which is to turn Blue Bolts into a full-fledged target master. That's right, Blue Bolts now has her own robot mode, and she looks brilliant. Up till this point, most of the changes and additions to these classic designs have been mostly cosmetic and functional. They're bigger, they have added joints and stability, but they've been pretty true to the originals. But this is the kind of innovation I would expect to see after 20 plus years have gone by. Taking something old and making it new again. Blue Bolts' robot mode is awesome looking. I absolutely love the head sculpt on this figure. The red crest pops against the blue, and the gold-painted eyes catch the light just right, giving her a depth that just looks incredible. The cannons end up as her arms, and while she doesn't have actual hands, she doesn't really need them. But my favorite design feature, as silly as it is the way the feet are formed and look like curly elf shoes.
Does that make Magnus Santa? No. Wait, you wear red. Are you Santa? If you try to sit in my lap right now, I swear to Primus.
Blue Bolts has some pretty decent articulation, all things considered, though her ankle tilts are extremely restricted and I can't figure out why. They just are for some reason. Blue Bolts also got the full weaponizer treatment, and can be pulled apart and combined with any compatible figure to arm them up with her signature cannons. This is quite possibly the best new thing about the whole set, and I'm really glad the design team pulled this off. Playing in the space provided and giving us something new to enjoy that respects the original, but adds to it. When not using Blue Bolts, you can also break her down, and she becomes some nifty gap fillers for Ultra Magnus, really reinforcing the theme of this set, and making Blue Bolts feel like a true third member of the Omega Prime combination.
I think it's more impressive if a bot pulls off greatness solo.
Can't think of a single bot that would willingly combine with you, huh?
Rude.
There is no denying that, at his core, Ultra Magnus is a very large accessory to the series' Autobot Supreme Commander, following in the lineage left down by the likes of God Bomber and Victory Leo. But I would also argue that this Magnus is quite possibly the best at maintaining some individualism compared to the others. The compromises for the combined mode seem less intrusive. While he does parts for him like God Bomber, he somehow feels like a more standalone figure than Victory Leo, leaving us with a toy and character that works well on his own, but has added value as a set.
Good. Great. Wonderful. Can we get to the real reason we're here? What? He already talked about blue bolts. Who cares about blue bolts? Hey, what you doing later, girl?
Alright, tune in next time when things get really fired up.
Finally! And mood killed. Fear not, brave viewers, for Skylinks is here to remind you to hit the subscribe button. And remember, if Skylinks thinks it's a good idea, then you really can't go wrong.